but next meeting we'll probably have a more detailed overview. But I'll yield to Dr. Graham.
So as Galen and Peter said, they have spent a number of time, but actually the past 8 months working on it. And so at this point, the group of approximately 30 people have been broken down into 5 groups. And so at this point, they have 5 themes. So the first one is sense of place. The second one, I'm saying American Indian students, so that's retention and a number of things that are in that. The third one is campus engagement. So that's looking at activities and ways to engage students on campus, as we talked about, not becoming as much of a suitcase campus. The fourth one is academic programs or academic integrity. So we're looking at what's our identity as an academic institution? Where do we want to focus? What do we want to do? Who do we want to serve? And those sorts of things in terms of the academic affairs side. And then the fifth goal is titled diversity, meaning folks that are here in the United States. So as we're talking to students of color, LGBT students, students with disabilities, all of those things. So finding out, looking at ways that we can work to increase those numbers and create a sense of welcome for those students. So with those 5 goals, and those 5 what I would call strategic benchmarks, a series of activities and goals have been set for each of those. And where we are right now is each of those groups have been charged with fine-tuning the language and making sure that they speak with our marketing and communications director so that the document flows seamlessly amongst those pieces. President Hensrud has asked at some point to come to a Senate meeting because that's what she does. And so what she's been talking about right now is the strategic plan and where we are and those sorts of things. So in the up and coming months, as we did in January and February, we did a series of town hall meetings. So after the collective bargaining units are understanding the strategic plan, that will go on the president's webpage and providing those to attend those town hall meetings and also get feedback via the web. And then after that, we will type the document up and then it will be available for public comment. And then hopefully, by January 2018, we will have our strategic plan for its 5 years. So that's great.
And so every meeting, Peter and I are tasked with kind of giving you guys updates on that. So starting next week, we'll probably have another more detailed kind of update on it as things go, because we won't be meeting every week as far as the strategic plan committee. So it's going to be kind of, we'll have more information one week than other weeks. So just look out for that. We'll be on the agenda. So
thank you guys. Thank you. So moving on, for our new business, we have new senator orientation. This is something we introduced this year. I don't know if it has been done before, but not in the recent years. So the reason we built the program, or sort of the plan, to help new senators to give them a sense of direction on what they can do as senators, because a lot of the times we've seen that when new senators get voted in or they become senators, they don't have a sense of direction and they don't know what they can do or how much their abilities are. So this program is essentially designed to help all of you, the ones who are new to Senate, to basically understand your job as a senator better and introduce you to all these different opportunities that you have as a senator on campus. And in order to do that, because it's not possible for us to give you all the details in during the meetings because the meeting times are short, we introduced another thing under that program called the mentorship program, which Vice President Love is going to talk about.
yeah, so basically, since there's been a lot of turnover since last year, just because a lot of there was a lot of seniors last year. We have a lot of new faces, and so we're going to have more this coming couple of weeks because we do have to fill this freshman spots as well as a couple other spots of that large positions and such. And so we kind of thought it'd be a good idea to kind of have a little mentorship kind of thing. It's not as scary as it sounds. All it really is if you have questions on each of the new, not only but all the new people, you're kind of one of the people who's been in part of Senate for a little bit longer. So we actually kind of already have people assigned up, current members. And so what we'll probably do is after the meeting, we'll probably kind of engage with you, and we have a list of them on here. And so if you ever have any questions about Senate, any sort of inquiries about how to do things, you just have to go to the person that you're assigned to. I mean, you can feel free to ask anybody questions that's been on Senate for a while. I myself, this is going to be my 3rd year, so I'm more than welcome to answer your questions for you guys. But it's basically kind of just like a little buddy system, which I know kind of sounds kind of lame, but it really will help in the long run. And so it's kind of at early stages right now. So we hope to have it so that way next year we can kind of go head first into next year without having to kind of worry about training all the new senators. And so, like I said, if you have any questions, just kind of what we'll do is at the end of the meeting, we'll try and talk to you real quick, introduce ourselves, kind of get to know each other real quick. And if you have any time for questions, just feel free to ask us. So,
yeah. And this is basically, it's in the initial stages, as Vice President Lopes said, but we believe it's going to help you out a lot. It's designed to make the experience more personable, so to speak. Right, next on our agenda, we have goals for the year. So essentially, because this is the first meeting, and obviously during the summer, everyone was busy. We usually don't meet during the summer unless the need arises. So this is our first meeting. We already had our first cabinet meeting last Thursday. And a lot of you are new members to the Student Senate. There's a learning curve for everyone. And we totally understand that you know, right at the moment, right from the start, you're not going to be able to jump into doing things. But in order to make that experience better or smoother, we would have to set a certain amount of goals. And we talked a little bit about this during the cabinet meeting. So essentially what we're going to try to do is to create a strategic plan for the activities of Student Senate, which is going to be in line with the university strategic plan, which Dr. Grant and Chair Gable and Vice President Lopes talked about. Essentially, trying to match what the university is trying to do with the entire strategic planning. We would keep our strategic plan in line with that, but obviously we're going to have a lot of other things that we want to include in there, and this is where the cabinet comes in. The cabinet is still working on it, and we will be working on it in our future meetings. And hopefully in a few weeks, we'll have something to present, something to kind of stick to and give us direction for what activities we can do during the school year. One of the most important things that we talked about is increasing student involvement on campus. And one of the ways that we think we can do this is by reaching out to all these different student organizations. And this is just one part of the strategic plan that I'm talking about at the moment. So this part, we talked about in the cabinet meeting that if one senator takes in 2 to 3 student organizations, if you volunteer to choose to go to these meetings, meetings of those organizations, attend those meetings as a student senator, as a representative of Student Senate, get feedback from them, what they want, what changes they need, or how we as Student Senate can help them get more participation from students or improve their experience as student leaders. So we will talk more about that during the week. And the most important thing is we need more feedback to actually shape this strategic plan. And the cabinet's going to do it, but obviously we need inputs from all of you. And this is why, this is where the committees come in. As you all know, we have the Campus Affairs Committee, the Academic Affairs Committee, the Inclusivity Committee, and all these committees have different responsibilities, or they have their own agendas and own goals that the chair along with the committee members set every semester. So make sure after this meeting during the week, you talk to the chairs or your mentor, get more information about these committees, see what interests you, join these committees. You need to attend one committee meeting each week. And basically that's where you're gonna talk to your chair, you're gonna give your input, you're gonna bring in new ideas on what kind of changes you want or you can bring. Or if there's any ideas that other members bring in or your chair brings in, then you can probably take action or help them take action through those committees. And we're gonna take feedback from all those committees and our cabinet together to build the strategic plan over the next few weeks. Okay. Any questions about the strategic plan? Seeing none, we move on to reports. Cabinet reports. Chair Campbell.
Yeah, so this isn't per se really about the internal affairs, but I'd like to bring up that I'm trying to start a fundraiser for the Hurricane Harvey, and if anyone wants to work with me, I'd like to take some volunteers. I drafted up some notes. You can get with me after the meeting if you're interested. I came up with a mission, some needs, and some resources, and maybe some ideas and potential ideas. So yeah, if anyone wants to help me out with that, just let me know after the meeting.
Thank you, Chair Campbell. This is a great initiative. I think we've done things in the past for earthquake in Japan, earthquake in Nepal. So this is a great initiative that whoever's interested can join and talk to Chair Campbell. Any other cabinet reports?
Yeah, so this is kind of, I didn't really plan out what I was gonna say. So the first meeting, so obviously this is our first meeting, and so it's a little less informal than it's gonna be later in the year. And so I just wanna let you guys know, as we add more senators to the Senate, we're gonna have more reports. So each of the chairs will have their own report that they'll kind of talk about as they progress with their committees. One thing that he had briefly touched on was each of you have to be a part of a committee, which we'll kind of figure out via doodle poll that we'll post on Facebook. Each chair will probably set up a doodle poll that best fits, or a time that best fits for their schedule because they have to lead the committees. So what we'll probably do is within the next week, what we'll end up doing is we'll post those doodle polls. Whichever committee kind of best works with your schedule, we'll probably assign you to them, and then they'll kind of go from there and explain what they would kind of want to accomplish this year, which is part of the goals. The other thing as a senator, one of your responsibilities is also doing 1 hour in the Senate office where you can kind of just hang out in there, kind of do your homework. If anyone comes in, they can ask you a quick question. So it's just kind of, representing the student Senate. Since we have an office, we want to be in there. So each week what we'll end up doing is Emily's going to kind of come up with a little list of names, and then what we'll do is we'll have the hours, and then we just mark what time you were in there for what period of time, just that way we can keep track. Where else is there? Basic knowledge. As far as what they really know as senators. One other thing that we should probably talk about is the Bob. So one of the things, the best way we kind of recruit freshman senators is we attend the Bob as a group. It is next Wednesday, isn't it? I believe. Okay, so the week after next. So what we'll probably do is, since it's on a Wednesday during this time, sorry if you're going to talk about this, but I figure we'll just get out of the way now. What we'll probably do is we're probably not going to have a Senate meeting that Wednesday, and instead we'll probably be attending the Bob together and just kind of tabling and kind of getting some new members. Because like I said, we did lose a lot of members last year because a lot of them graduated, so we need to fill the Senate before we can start getting some work done. And as far as the reason why you're on site is because you want to make some sort of change here on campus. And so I want you guys to kind of start thinking about what kind of change needs to be done. So just to get it in the back of your head, if there's anything that you've talked to any of your friends about that they kind of want to see change as far as food-wise at Wally's or anything at Lakeside, just general like campus knowledge that we need to kind of address, just kind of bring it to one of the meetings and you guys can ask us. As far as drafting bills and such, where it's kind of early for you guys to do that, but if there's any ideas, we can kind of show you what previous bills have looked like. And we kind of walk you through the steps. And so that's kind of part of the mentorship. Most of the people that have been on set have probably drafted their own bills. I know Peter has for sure. Sam, Emily have helped with them before, so they kind of know. I myself have helped with them. So if you have any questions about coming up with your own bill that you want to bring up, we'll kind of walk you through that as well. As far as other stuff, like I said, if you ever have any questions, feel free to ask any of us. But as far as that, I think we'll yield. So. Any questions?
So going off of what he said about office hours, if you do forget to mark it, just message me on Facebook or something, or I can give out my number and you can text me if that works better, or call me. Also, I wanted to talk about the point system. So Student Senate does have a point system. You get 10 points each semester. If you make it to 10, I have to have a really hard conversation with you. And you'll be up for grabs about getting kicked out of Student Senate. That's
So
not the
briefly
right
to talk,
way to
no, it's okay.
phrase it. But yeah, anyways, you get 3 points for a Student Senate meeting that you miss, 3 points for a committee meeting, and 1 point per office hour that you miss. So, yeah.
I know early on right now, like you guys have a lot going on, like the obligations aren't that big. So just do your hour, attendance at the meeting. Some meetings are gonna be shorter than others, but if you have like work that you have to be at, like there's reasons that you can miss that won't necessarily count. If it's just because you don't want to show up, that's not gonna be a good enough excuse. But just talk to us if there's something going on, like family-wise, school-wise. Just let us know. It's better to tell us than not tell us. Because then we do have to count points for it. So
You do get 2 unexcused absences for a committee meeting and for Senate meetings. So,
is it any questions?
Yeah, about the office hours. So if you have like 45 minutes between classes or something like that, like, can you be in there without doing a full hour? Or
That's
is it
okay.
like,
Yeah.
okay,
I mean, if it's less than a half hour, then try and make up the other half hour later.
sure.
And honestly, if you can't make up the extra 15 minutes that you missed or whatever,
Okay.
So about the Bob, you said we all go as a group. I know that both Amanda and I are not possibly able to be together with that because we have another organization that we have to be there for. Is that okay?
Yeah. So I mean, we're all not going to fit on one table, obviously. So, but we do, as long as you're there to, like, if you can just stop by the table, introduce yourself to other people, and just kind of let them know that you're part of Senate. That's good enough for us. So, Senator Boards.
When does office hours start?
We're going to start them probably next week, just because we already having them this week.
Ash said tomorrow. So they'll start tomorrow. The sign-up sheet's already in the office. If you have marked an office hour on that, I'll just count it for next week. So it's okay. Also, it's a little goofy, and if your name's not on there, I'm sorry. Just add it at the bottom. There are blank spaces. Yeah, and I'm new at this, so
Your name's definitely on
give
there.
me
I checked it. Your name's definitely on there, and it's on the wall by the door, right?
Oh,
So
and if it's out of the office, make sure you highlight it in yellow. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
it's written on there. It's okay.
I'm done talking.
So the way it works is after the Wednesday's meeting, your office hours start counting until next Wednesday. So that's how it goes. So Wednesday to Wednesday. Chair Kenny?
Mr. President, so what about tabling? So is that affected into the office hour, the hour
that counts
point
as an
system?
outside hour as long as it's okay by your committee chair.
Okay,
And
word.
since you're a committee chair, you can kind of okay yourself.
Thank you, I yield.
All right, we're gonna talk more about the Bob during the week and the office manager and your mentors. They're gonna reach out to you about volunteering. So the way we do events for Student Senate is we talk about a certain event, what we need to do, and then we ask whoever is willing to be there or can be there, and then we volunteer. Okay. Moving on to university committee reports. Any university committee reports? Vice President Alosa?
So just to kind of explain what a university committee report is, so technically the strategic planning committee would be a university report, so we could put that, our report in there. But there's other university committee reports or committees that will kind of arrive later on the semester. I'll yield to Dr. Grant if he wants to add something because it seems urgent.
There are 3 committees that they want you on right now.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if President Ula was going to talk about this in his remarks, but one of the things that happens is that the cabinet of Student Senate meets with the cabinet or the executive leadership team of the institution, and that means next Tuesday or somewhere thereabouts. One of the agenda items is university committees, and there are 3 committees right now that need student participation, and that is the Information Technology Strategic Planning Initiative, the Technology Fee Committee, and there's another one that's escaping me. And so in that, President Ula will be asking you to serve as representatives because those committees meet twice a semester. And so in order for them to be in compliance with the university constitution, students have to serve on those committees. And as the term progresses, more and more committees will be put out there, or request for your participation will be on those.
Yeah, just like Dr. Grant said, I already posted, I believe you guys have seen my post about the Technology Fee Committee and the Strategic Planning Committee. We already have Chair Gable, who volunteered for one of the committees, actually both of them. So the way it works is we have 4 committees actually in the Student Senate. The PR Committee, the Inclusivity Committee, the Campus Affairs Committee, the Academic Affairs Committee. And all of this is in the Constitution and bylaws. It's already been sent to you. I hope you guys take a look at it and you'll get to know more about these committees. And we also ask, because we get a lot of opportunities from different university officials, other committees that they're planning to have students on. And that's why we ask you to volunteer in those committees. And then you basically, whoever is the volunteer, basically attends those meetings and then brings back the feedback or whatever they talked about or what the committee's planning and reports it to the Senate body here at this meeting.
Vice President Wilson. I just want to add, I've been a part of Senate since my sophomore year, and so it's a great way, being a part of these committees, to kind of make connections with administration and work alongside of them as well. It's really cool. My sophomore junior year, I got to be a part of a couple of them, and including actually search advisory committees where they help actually hire administration officials. And so that's just one of the types of committees that they have. But if you have any questions about them, you can always feel free to ask me.
So for committees, like for Senate and like also like for officials and stuff, you kind of mentioned this before. Can you pick what committee you're on? Is it based on your schedule? Like,
so as far as the university committees, you're not obligated to be a part of them. We highly recommend that you go because, like I said, you get a lot of experience, and it's actually kind of a resume builder too, depending on how long you go for, because you can put that on your resume. As far as the our Senate committees, those are required to be a part. So I mean, it works, or whatever works best with your schedule. As far as the university committees, you can choose which ones you want to be on. Like Dr. Grant said, they want students to be on because they want student opinions on it. So I believe you posted on Facebook about it, our group, about the different committees. I don't know if you had the times on them though, but if you want to sign up to be a part of them, we can get in contact with whoever's running those committees. So if there's any new ones that get brought up, what we'll do is we'll get in contact with whomever, and Dr. Grant can also make that connection to let them know who, what students being part of which one. So hopefully that answers your question. So.
Yeah, so the two committees that I posted about is the Technology Fee Committee and the IT Strategic Planning Committee. I did not receive the times. I only received a date, September 22nd or September 19th for one of the committees, and the other one is going to start sometime in October. Just let me know, or let Vice President Losa know, whoever wants to volunteer, and we can put your names to Vice President Karen Snort. Okay. Chair Stockman.
This is more of a question, I guess, if anybody knows, more so, I guess, or just a grant. Do you know the Food and Dining Services Committee? Is that what I mean?
Wednesday, that too.
Huh?
And how we want to
Yeah. Wednesday, is that too? Okay. Thank you very much.
Chair Hennick.
This is a question towards Dr. Grant. Do you know when the Diversity and Inclusion Committee is meeting?
I knew you were going to ask me that. They have not set up the meeting times for this year, but I would like to speak to you after the meeting about that.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Just to add to that, if you check your Yammer, because we're in that group, you'll get to know when the meetings are. Any other university committee reports? Seeing none, we'll move on to other reports. Dr. Grant, do you have anything?
No, I just wanted to.
Okay. So there's actually something I wanted to share, and the Vice President Losa already talked about it a little bit. Today is our first meeting. The first one or two meetings are going to be slow. They're going to be boring. We might not have a lot of things to discuss, but this is not how it's going to go all year. Senate becomes really interesting and really busy. Meetings are going to be longer and longer, and So you'll actually once you get the hang of everything, once you get to go through our bylaws, constitution, talk to your mentor, join a committee, then you'll get to know a lot about how Student Senate works and what you can do as a senator. And then people will have a lot more reports, and we're gonna have bills come in, maybe towards October, November, whenever they come in. And things are gonna be more interesting. So don't be bored. That's my message. Moving on, points for the good of the order.
One before we go on to that. As a senator, one thing I do also ask, and it's part of one of your obligations, is during our meetings, we ask that you don't kind of fiddle on your phone or be on your computers unless it pertains to Student Senate. I'm not calling you out or anything. I just wanted to bring that up so that way we can have to make up later. Because part of the reason why we're here is to kind of pay attention to each other and kind of talk about and focus on the Senate. So we do understand that if you have some homework to do, you got to do it not during a meeting. So if you have any questions about that, you can feel free to ask me or our internal affairs chair, who is Tyler Cameron TK. So that's it. Okay.
Chair Hennick?
Tonight at 6 o'clock, there is actually some live music happening downtown. You guys should check it out. It's music on the Mississippi, I do believe. It's happening right at Paul and Babe. So yeah, go check it out.
Thank you.
So we're on the, I'm sorry. I just want to make sure that you guys know kind of what's going on. So for points to get in order, it's just kind of the part where we kind of talk about what's going on campus, just kind of more casual stuff. So when we get to that part, if you have any things to add, like what Caleb just said, with events going on campus, we'd love to kind of hear about it so that we can attend. So I yield. Shut up now. Sorry.
Dean of Students, Dr. Grant.
Well, first off, welcome back.
Thank you.
Missed you. And it's funny when I hear students refer to us as administration. I thought I was one of you, but I guess I'm on to the other side. I'm a student now. So welcome back. thank you for those of you who have participated in any of the welcoming activities, campus moving, convocation, you served as an orientation leader. If you did any of those things to welcome in the class of 2021, I want to personally thank you from the bottom of my heart, because it has probably, in my 30 years of being a university administrator, probably the best opening that I ever had. No glitches whatsoever. I think the first year class probably freaked out when they saw me twerk on Friday night, but I can drop it like it's hot. So they were kind of shocked about that. But needless to say, we're looking forward to working with you, and on behalf of my colleagues on the executive leadership team, we are very, very excited about this year and wanting to work with you. I mean, as I am in my quote unquote second year here at Bemidji State, it has been a great and wonderful experience. And so a couple of things. Tomorrow is Community Day. And so right out here in the Hour, the courtyard, will be a bunch of vendors. So from about 4:30 to 6, please show if you can. I appreciate that. Also, tomorrow about 6, there is the walk, take a mile in her shoes. Will be for domestic violence that will be happening downtown. I have more information if you want that. Please see me. And just a reminder, as this weekend is Labor Day weekend, I want you to make wise choices and, you know, enjoy the time off, but come back ready to hit the student thing and come back next week.
Thank you, Dr. Grant. So before we move on, I want you guys to know that the thing that you guys have right now, you guys are senators. This is actually much more than just being a part of a club. Hello, this is actually much more than being a part of a club. You are a senator. You're not only a senator on Wednesdays at 5 p.m. in this room. You're a senator every day, every hour of the week. And you have to, whenever you're going to a certain department, a certain classroom, any organization's meeting, or wherever you are, just talking to friends, you represent Student Senate of Bemidji State University. So it is your responsibility to obviously act accordingly, because you serve as a role model. So we obviously do not want our role models to portray something that doesn't fall in line with our values. Secondly, it is your responsibility to promote Student Senate and to listen, to hear feedback from your fellow students, because that's why you are elected as a student senator, to get feedbacks from them and to act on them, take initiatives. So this is almost like how politicians in real life, in a city, let's say, if you want something to get done, you go to the mayor, or you go to your city councilman, you go to your state representative. This is almost similar, just on a smaller scale. So you represent BSU as a whole, and your job is to serve as a student senator every day, every hour, every moment of the week, not only at 5 p.m. on Wednesdays in this room. Thank you. And Dr. Grant.
And when you are in those situations, if you are not sure, refer it to me, okay? And then I will get you the information that you need. Because I will bet you someone's going to say something and you'll be like, oh, I have no idea what that is, because you're human and you haven't experienced all things. But if you have any questions, okay, I would be more than happy to help direct you or help do it. So ask for a little time, just say, give me a day, email me, and then I will respond, okay, direct them here, and those sorts of things. Because it's unfair. I mean, yes, you're representatives, but it is unfair for you to know everything about Bemidji State University. So.
Thank you, Dr. Grant. Vice President Lobson.
Yeah, I just want to add, so Dr. Grant and Nina Johnson, the director of HMU, they're kind of our advisors. So if you ever have any questions, they are our advisors. So yeah, by the way, this is Nina Johnson, obviously the director of HMU. She's our advisor, and then you're kind of our unofficial advisor.
I'm the
So,
executive.
yeah, you're the suit according to yourself. But he's kind of our go-to person. He's kind of our go-to person as far as administration, and same with Nina too. Nina recently just took the position as the director of HMU, but HMU isn't anything new to her. She was the associate director for how long was it? 3.5 years. Yeah, and so if you have any questions about Senate, just kind of refer them to Dr. Grant or Johnson or us too.
Yeah.
And then do you want to introduce yourself real quick since you just kind of walked in?
Yes, hi everybody. Thank you for letting me interrupt your meeting. I was at a couple of you at the start of the student organization assembly, which was gathering together all of our student leaders to kick off the year. So we had great attendance. It was fantastic. So that is my night. But I am really excited to work with this group and to have this opportunity this year. I'm really excited about the things that Ash and Galen have talked about and the initiatives I think the returning senators have brought to light to bring forth some of the leadership initiatives that they've talked about this year. So I'm excited to support you in that. And to be here for you and I can't echo enough exactly what Ash said. And I so appreciate coming from an office student of really the importance of this role and the degree to which you serve the student body and the representatives that you are for our students. You are truly the voice. To hear President Hensrud, refer to Student Senate in meetings and in presentations across campus, she's listening, and all of our administration really truly is. And so you play a really critical role, and you have a responsibility, like Ash said, to hear truly the voice of our students on our campus and to serve them to the best of your ability. So thank you for those words, Ash.
Thank you, Nina. Thank you very much, and we really appreciate having you and having Dr. Grant here with us, supporting us all the time, because the way I take it is you are the pillar of this body, because we count on you a lot on a number of issues. Chair Hennig?
I was just going to reiterate that. I yield.
To add to that, as Galen said, we will be in the Senate office. I'm there most of the time. Just if you have any questions, reach out to me, reach out to your mentors, or reach out to Dr. Grant, reach out to Advisor Johnson. That's all I have. Motion to adjourn.
Yeah, second.
Wait, who's first?
Motion to adjourn.
Just give it to DJ. It doesn't matter.
This is your job.
Chair Campbell. Motion to adjourn.
Oh, second.
Is there a dissent?
No dissent.